Okay, here's my final so far essay. I'm an anarchist communist accountant, and I have things to read. Um, so here's the text. Everyone should be able to live a full life. We can achieve that with the resources in our world. Many things needed for a full life have a price. Therefore, society falls short of providing everyone what is needed for a full life. 57% of Americans can't afford a $1,000 emergency expense, says a new report according to Fortune Recommends. How is this so? The very nature of pricing blocks people from getting goods and services, crushes ecosystems, and keeps employees mired in unsatisfying wages. This is all the work of the profit motive. And here's the stock exchange. This is where deals are made about the ownership of property. It's major, that's like one of the key elements of capitalism, capitalist society. People with more than enough money to survive tend to invest it. One way or another, they put their extra cash into businesses, expecting more cash in return from sales of products or ownership stakes than what they invested. That increase in money is called profit or gain, respectively, and it drives various habits. The company comes first, and everyone else can be left unsatisfied as long as the company gains as much as possible or loses as little as possible. And here are eggs. Yep, we did have prices of eggs going up, so there's that. Let's consider the dynamic of supply and demand. Businesses want to supply products at high prices to get more money, and consumers desire products at lower prices to avoid spending money. Consumers don't actively negotiate prices, though. Suppliers price as they see fit to keep a flow of customers buying their goods. Excuse me. Low prices don't yield as much profit as high prices, so usually the only entities that provide products such as low-income housing, cheap clinics, and pre-college classes are governments, nonprofits, and small businesses. Ultimately, supply does not meet demand at the levels of quantity and quality consumers desire or even need to survive and thrive. And here is a landfill or a dump, various things. Sometimes industries become profitable enough to expand into new territory. This creates a different problem: waste and environmental destruction. Landfills leak toxins into soil and water. Suburbs replace forests, swamps, and prairies, as urban apartments have cheaper prices than sprawling houses. Corporations clear natural ecosystems to make way for monocrop farms and oil drilling sites. This makes factory foods and gasoline plentiful for the sake of spread out or isolated communities. Land that once absorbed greenhouse gases and supported diverse populations of plants, animals, and other organisms now supports only humans and a select few other permitted species. Ecological colonialism is so profitable it stretches around the world. And now we're getting into labor here. And then we have the exploitation of labor. After all, by the way, the image is of a strike, like workers deciding not to work, standing outside with their signs making demands. And then we have the exploitation of labor. After all of this production and consumption happens, profits go to the owners of businesses. Workers at these businesses are rarely owners or shareholders, so they do not enjoy that bottom line. We have to beg for raises while being careful enough to avoid getting fired. Out of wariness, we settle for wages that barely cover rent, utilities, and food. Unions and strikes get workers to the bargaining table, but they are only temporary fixes. The purchases of securities themselves have limited the expense of workers' payroll, as wages are not the bottom line. Here's a forest, more environmental, ecological. Where does all this harmful greed come from? It comes from our requirement to pay for goods and services. The revenues from those payments enable businesses to operate for profit. Without money coming in, they would no longer be puppeted by investors, CEOs, and directors. Well, I guess officers in general, chief officers, not just CEOs, but yeah. The profit motive, the desire for more and more money, would be gone. Instead, customer satisfaction would be the top priority, with plants, animals, and the rest of ecosystems getting support afterward. People who get their personal needs met want to improve other lives when greed does not overwhelm them. We have the manpower and technology to restore our planet and stop squeezing it dry. Need can replace greed as the force behind our economies when a mass movement refuses to charge money. So that's it for now. I hope you've enjoyed these essays. As I think I mentioned earlier, I will probably come up with another one at some point, sooner or later. And anyway, I think that's it for now. Maybe I'll come up with some other videos to make. I'll, do what I can. Yeah. So stay tuned. Goodbye.